time trying to film this video. It'll probably be all over the place and very emotional because it's a very emotional topic to me. Today's video is about diagnosing my daughter with ADHD, how I handled it, and pretty much where we are now and what we're doing to try to help her handle her ADHD. I want to first start off this video by saying this is what we're doing. This might not work for your child. This is how we're handling it. This is what we're doing. This is my opinion. Mostly this is just what's working for my family, and that does not mean that it'll work for yours. If you see me looking down, it's because I have a notebook here full of all of the things I want to try to cover today and make sure that I get everything into this one video. So I first want to start off this video with how old she was when we first started. She was 3. That's when we first started seeing signs of her speech delay. She wasn't talking as well as all of the other kids were talking in her preschool. She also was running into walls, but that's because of a different issue. She didn't have glasses. She now has glasses and can see. So she was running into walls. She wasn't talking as well. The next issues that we were starting to see and that we were really starting to get worried about was we would learn the ABCs. We would be like, this is A, and she would tell us that's the letter A. A, mom, A is what she would say. And then 15 minutes later, not even, she wouldn't know that that letter was A, even though we had just worked on that letter. And the only transitioning part that we had done at that point was either a game that was still focusing on the letter A, but it wasn't clicking to her that that was the letter A. One of the other things that we were starting to see was that she couldn't sit still for longer than like 10 minutes. We'd play a game and she'd get bored of the game really, really quick. Which was really, really rough because my son really wanted to play a game and she'd be over it and she'd be running off getting into other things. We weren't the only ones that were seeing this at this point. I had gone into a parent-teacher conference in January, I think, and the teacher had said, I know you have your degree in early education. I'm kind of nervous to like talk to you about what we're seeing in the classroom. I want to see if you're seeing it at home as well. I'm getting emotional. I'm sorry. And I had explained to her that we were seeing it at home as well and that we weren't sure what to do and how to handle it. Then COVID started and she had gotten pulled out of preschool. They had closed the preschool and she wasn't getting the help or the extra socialization that she had been needing. So in January, when she got pulled, like right after COVID, which was a little after January, excuse me, we decided that we were going to try to, with my early education degree, we would keep her home during COVID and I would teach her. I probably went into the wrong field, let's be honest. My patience is thin with my own kids and I try very, very hard to expand the patience and to be patient. But I'd been noticing more and more and more that it wasn't clicking to her. We had tried songs, we had tried tracing, we had tried games, I had tried everything that I was taught to do in these situations. So I had finally called her doctor and I was like, hey, I am so sorry. We had gone to a parent-teacher conference a few months ago and her preschool teacher had noticed all of these issues and I'm now at home with her and I'm noticing all of these issues. The nurse had said, let's come in, let's talk about this with her doctor and see what her doctor says. So flash forward a few weeks, we had gone in to see the doctor. The doctor had said that obviously she cannot diagnose her with anything, that we should probably go see a child psychologist, see what they say, which freaked me out. I was so scared. At this point, I kept thinking, what am I doing wrong as a parent? Did I do something wrong in my pregnancy? Everything under the sun. Like, what did I do? I now know, and I even knew back then, that it wasn't my fault. This is not anybody's fault. This is her, and she's perfect the way she is. The next step that I think I left off on was going to the child psychologist after a few months on the wait list. At this meeting, we had filled out a questionnaire of all of the things that we were seeing with our daughter. This questionnaire was mostly, does she know how to write her name? Does she know how to do this? Does she know how to do that? Where she was academically, but also where she was socially. So during the questionnaire, I had filled it out, I had sent it back to her, and then we had gone into the office, and when we were in the office, she kind of just went over the questionnaire, asking questions about the questionnaire and stuff like that. In this office, we had gone in, and she mostly talked to us, and then she took my daughter out of the room to play with her and to see how she interacted with her. I only have what my daughter has told me they were doing in a sound. I could see them on a little camera, but they were just playing. She had came back into the room, told us how well it went, told us that what they kind of were doing and what she was seeing, but she never gave us a diagnosis there. After 4 or 5 weeks, I'd gotten an email. It was a very long email full of information about what she saw, how the child psychologist saw, what she thought, her thoughts, things that she recommended. At the bottom was my daughter's diagnosis. After we saw her diagnosis was ADHD, it was like a sigh of relief, but also a, how do I explain this? But again, it was like, what did I do? Did I drink too much pop? Did I sleep on my back the wrong way? Or did I sleep on my side differently than I was supposed to? All of these things went through my head. Did I not take the prenatal vitamins? What did I do? What did I do wrong? That thought has gotten easier, and again, I know it's not my fault. It was just how I was feeling in that moment. But after the diagnosis, her pediatric doctor had reached back out to us, had asked for her diagnosis papers, so I had sent them over to her doctor. Her doctor had called us in to see and go over it and see all of the next steps that we should take. The first thing we had talked about was if we wanted her on ADHD medication. At this time, she had, I think, just turned 4. And to me, I didn't really want the meds. My doctor kept saying we didn't have to do them and that she wouldn't really recommend them, but they help sometimes. We had decided to go a more different way. We had decided to try different remedies to try to help her this way since she was so little. So her doctor had talked about the vitamins we could take and a diet change. My daughter also has celiac, so she always eats gluten-free food already. So we had cut out gluten. We try to cut out as much sugar as possible. Talked about with her doctor was therapies, speech therapy, occupational therapy, ABH therapy, all of the therapies that I could find that I thought would help. Her doctor, by herself, had said that speech therapy and occupational therapy would do amazing things for Indy. We had called around, we'd gotten on a wait list, we had gotten into occupational therapy super, super quick at this wonderful facility. After we had gotten in to see her occupational therapist, we had decided that we wanted speech therapy. So I had called this facility to see if they had a speech therapy. They had gotten us in, they had gotten us quickly in with an amazing speech therapist. She had started, I think, a week after they had done the eval. She had been there from probably 6 to 7 months, and her speech, her letter recognitions, her tying, zippering, all the little things that we probably take for granted, which was so hard for her, had became so amazing and so quickly catched up on, and it made me feel so great. She had gone to therapy 2 times a week, once for speech, once for occupational therapy. We had gone weekly. It was amazing. Therapy is a godsend, I will say that. Therapy had helped her so much. I cannot rave with how much therapy had helped her. But during the time she was in therapy, we had a few ups and downs, and things had gotten really rough. Not only for her, but for me. And during those really rough times, I had felt like I had my husband, but it wasn't like I had a mom or I had someone who had gone through it before. So I had looked on Amazon and I had found these amazing books. This one is The Essential Guide for Raising Complex Kids with ADHD, Anxiety, and More. When I say that this book helped me, it's an understatement. It is amazing. It'll be linked down below.